You know what I love about this weather? The mist, the fog, garam parathe, pakore kind of weather. Just the foggy day in London town. You know, the pea super. I'm not quite sure what pea super is though.
I think it was first...
So thick that you can't see the pea soup?
No, it was so thick, and it was the infamous London fog, or rather smog. There was a lot of sulfur dioxide in the air, and it was soot from the chimneys. And I think this was first coined in the Dickensian age, at the time when people used to eat a lot of peas pudding and pea soup. And
there used to be a nursery rhyme, peas pudding hot. Peas
yeah,
pudding
that's
cold.
where it comes from. So that's why it's called the infamous London pea souper.
Do you know that there's a famous song as well? Foggy day in London town, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling down. Of course, I'm singing the Frank Sinatra version, not Ella Fitzgerald or Michael Bublé, your favorite. I think everyone has done that song.
And in the context of the podcast, your point being, it's a lovely day. You like this kind of weather. What did you start?
That is a foggy day in London town.
It is a foggy day in London town. What are we talking about today, by the way? Let's do the formal intros first before we get to that. Welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And we're everything else in between.
So what is on your mind on a foggy day in London town?
Well, there's only one thing on everyone's mind, and that is Omicron. Now, do you say Omicron or do you say Omicron?
Omicron, I think. Is it Crom or Cron? I'm not quite sure.
I think it's C-R-O-N.
I think everybody just says the new variant.
No, because it's in your Greek alphabet, isn't it? I mean, things are getting hard now because we know that what was Delta? Delta is alpha, beta, gamma. Delta was the fourth letter. And now we're coming near the end somewhere, you know. This is the 15th, 16th letter, isn't it?
So what happened to the others?
Alpha to omega. There's how many letters, I think? 24?
I don't know.
Did you not learn it in school?
Nope.
No, I think I did, but I can't remember it. But so many of them are quite well known. You remember Mu, Nu, and Z? Mu, Nu, Z, I sound a bit like Donald Duck's nephews. Yu, Lu, and Dewey. Sigma, you know. Oh, of course. I'll tell you one, you know. Just before omega is?
Pi?
Is Psi, PSI. There's Pi as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But now Psi is better known as...
the man who sang Gangnam Style.
The man who sang Gangnam Style, yeah.
Yeah. See, I only know these in the context of maths. Geometry? Because...
there is Pi also.
Yeah, and that was not my strongest subject, nor my most favorite. So I have absolutely no reasons to remember it. But this time round...
A lot of these words have now become common parlance for other things like Omega. Most people associate with a luxury watch brand that sent the first man on the moon.
Or you say alpha male. He's an alpha male.
I better correct that. They didn't send the first man on the moon. He just happened to be wearing their watch.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, but we're talking about the variant, the new variant that is on everybody's mind. And I think it cuts both ways. While people are saying that...
You know why I was saying it? Because some people there's already a debate going on. Is it Omicron or Omicron?
Oh, come on. Pronouncing this properly shouldn't be the most important thing on people's minds right now. It is how to deal with Omicron or Omicron, isn't it? And what it could potentially do to Christmas 2021. I think everybody is feeling hugely relieved that hopefully, fingers crossed, nobody quite knows how these things mutate and what the end result is. But we're hoping that one of the reasons why Christmas 2021 is going to be dramatically different from last year is because a majority of the population is double jabbed. Many of us have had our boosters as well. So hopefully we wouldn't be affected as badly as we were last year.
No, but that's the whole debate. That's the whole thing, that they're saying that this new variant
is resistant.
It's not like the Delta variant. They've got to find a new...
But has it been said with any amount of scientific certainty? I think everybody's just guessing. Right? Because God knows the government is getting
obviously they don't know enough about it yet. But they're saying that this variant is much more dangerous, that these booster jabs may not work on this one. You probably have to have another booster jab. And
in the light of how Europe is closing down a lot of its Christmas celebrations rapidly, I think the government is also getting, once again, a lot of criticism because they're saying that, they're dragging their feet over making mask wearing.
I think they've already done it in Northern Ireland and Wales.
Yeah.
So
pub timings and all of
it.
those things have been affected, right? So the government here is always one of the last to kind of comply with what the rest of the European nations are doing. But then
I'm talking about Great British nations, not Europe. Forget European nations.
Yeah.
I'm talking about our nations.
No, but why are you not looking at how it panned out last year at the height of the pandemic, when Italy and all these other countries were really poorly hit, when we hadn't got there yet? They were saying that, surely we should have learned some lessons from last year. But yeah, it is. There's a fascinating article in The Guardian on...
Just before you start that, just one more thing I want to say about this. Are you talking about the article on
the pandemic? Yeah.
I just want to say that, there's another theory, which I actually agree with. Not a theory, but another point of view, is that you should, instead of getting booster jabs to the first world countries, they should first give the vaccinations to the rest of the world, because this one has allegedly come from South Africa.
Yeah.
There should be
vaccine poverty is, as long as it remains, nobody is safe.
That's right.
Essentially, that's what it is, right?
What is the opposite of vaccine poverty, where everyone should get it? Vaccine what?
Excess, because they're hoarding...
Vaccine equality, maybe.
Yeah. But right now they're saying that, like, all these first world countries, including Great Britain, they've got more than they need, right? Because everybody...
And they're going out of date.
Yeah.
They have to be disposed of.
Yeah. Not speaking specifically about the new variant, but speaking about the pandemic as a whole. There's a brilliant article in The Guardian on how the pandemic has changed certain areas of the human body. Feet, liver, hair, teeth, eyes, skin, heart, stomach, and they've broken it down.
This
and they're saying,
to do with long COVID, or
it is not just long COVID. It's saying that people's habits have changed so dramatically. So even those who haven't been affected by COVID, for instance, they're saying that when it comes to hair, they're saying that 79% of UK hair and scalp specialists are saying that they've seen more cases of hair fall, and they're saying that if you've suffered from COVID, if you've had it, then high temperatures.
Your hair falls anyway with anxiety, stress.
Yeah, high temperatures, loss of appetite, all of that causes it. Eyes, even if you haven't had COVID, they're saying that it's because, again, the first and most obvious thing is you think that everybody is hooked to their screens, right? So more screen time, and therefore people are not kind of, looking away from gadgets and gizmos enough and all of that. Teeth, they're saying, is related to it in a way that all routine checkups went for a toss, right? Because COVID, it was the main...
the dentists were closed for a long time.
Dentists were closed for a long time.
Last year or this year? I can't remember.
It's coming close to 2 years. This March is going to be 2 years, right? So I think that's why you've seen that loads of people who had their routine dental checkups, they would not have suffered from a lot of serious things which they suffer from now. Again, cardiologists have seen a rise in chronic heart conditions during the pandemic. And again, they're saying it's because, diet, exercise, all these things have suffered. I know that many people, many known to us, have turned their lives around, and they took this downtime, this forced downtime, to really drastically change what they were eating.
Look after their health. How come we fail so miserably?
I blame it on the fact that, we were 4 people trying to work, and as the entire nation, I agree, or maybe the entire world, 4 people trying to cater to kids and online studies and broadcasting from home, and you working from home, and all of us trying to fit in too many things.
And they had exams from home.
They had exams, GCSEs and all the rest of it. So there is a sharp divide there. While a lot of people have just let themselves go, and therefore, exercise and diet and all have really been affected badly, we also know a section of people who kind of really used this to their advantage. Stomach, they're saying, again, the brain and the gut interact very closely, and they're saying that irritable bowel syndrome, one of the things that has really gone up, cases of that in the last year and a half.
I always hear people saying that I've got IBS. And,
and
touch wood, as I don't have it, I don't really know what it is.
And I think we are blessed that, we don't know what that is.
But all I know is it's very irritable.
And another very, very obvious correlation between COVID protocol and skin. Can you work it out? Do you know what that might be? A lot of people...
Your skin because you're not putting on makeup,
no,
your skin is glowing.
I'm talking mainly about the skin on your hands, because you've been using so much hand sanitizer. A lot of it, to be very effective, has to have a high percentage of alcohol, which is very bad for your skin. It dries your skin out. So if you've been using hand gel, hand face paste, we've been doing that for the last almost 2 years, right? Which is the right thing to do as well. But if you've forgotten to moisturize your hands, then they're saying that now is the time when all these small things are adding up. And people are developing skin problems and all of that. A lot of people are saying that their feet, this is actually quite a funny one. They're saying that they feel that their shoe size has gone up. And doctors and whatever chiropodists are saying that that's probably because people have been working from home and they haven't been wearing shoes. So you're more used to your feet being more relaxed and not being constrained within your office shoe or your trainers or whatever. And trainers have become people's new best friends. I can vouch for that. I don't think I've worn shoes or boots for the last year and a half at all. I've lived in my trainers. So this is a fascinating look at how COVID has affected a lot of people, even those who've been spared the actual pandemic and have taken all precautions. But if your routine has been compromised for so long, these things are bound to happen.
Do you think that in the next 2 weeks Christmas is going to get cancelled again? I've heard office parties have already started not getting cancelled, but most people are staying away.
I wouldn't like to venture a guess, and I think everybody is hoping and praying that it doesn't get cancelled. But I also feel that more needs to be done to keep people safe, because I travel by public transport and I can see that even in a carriage where there's loads of people and it is extremely well ventilated and all the rest of it, there might be 8 or 9 or 10 of us in a carriage sitting far apart. Not everyone is wearing a mask. A majority aren't, which is worrying.
Talking about Christmas, I went into town to look at the Christmas tree, which is a bit disappointing, the one in Trafalgar Square this time. It's a bit threadbare. The one in Covent Garden is quite good.
I think that's the one which gets all the likes on Instagram, the one in Covent Garden.
I don't know. I didn't go there to
see how
many likes it got. All right.
That's the cool one in London.
We move in different circles. Okay?
Yes, clearly we do.
But what I did see was I saw a shop called Amazon Fresh. And there's no salespeople. You walk in and you pick up what you have to load the app. Because I stood outside to see what's going on. You load the Amazon app,
which people already have. There's a special app.
I think it's
the Amazon special app.
Yeah, and you walk in and you just take a paper bag and you pick up all your groceries and put it in, and you walk out. Feel like you're stealing everything, but it'll add it and it'll charge it to your Amazon account. I was just wondering, suppose you pick up something. And it adds it. Suppose it's all fruits and vegetables and tins. It's a grocery
that
shop.
Makes sense now, because I've been looking at these Amazon ads which say Amazon presents broccoli, Amazon brings you sprouts.
Yeah, well, there's one not too far from us. Now, suppose I pick up 3 apples and I decide, I want 2. So what happens? Would they charge me for 3 because I picked up 3? Or as soon as I put 1 down,
I'm sure it
knows.
I'm sure they must have thought that through, because let's face it, who doesn't?
I don't know why I'm telling the story, because I didn't go in the shop. I should have gone in.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary.
This is the way
this is how the world is going to be.
Yeah, driverless cars are already being trialled all over the world. We've already got drones flying up and down, taking us places where no one's ever been, no photographer or cameraman has ever been. And I think the scary thing is that it is putting all this technology into our hands. It's not specialists who are dealing with it, right? It's anybody, as you're saying. And this goes against your human instinct. Walking into a shop and putting something in a bag and walking out without paying, as you're saying, feels like stealing. It would take us a while to mentally adjust to that, no? But
the world is changing.
Yeah.
There's no more Jack in Twitter. It's Mr. Parag Agarwal.
Yeah, that's true.
Parag.
Yeah, Parag Agarwal. But before we get to Parag Agarwal, the ads that you see on the London Underground, a lot of them are now about these, not like Amazon Fresh, but it's about these specialist veg boxes, food boxes that you can order.
They've been around for quite some time.
And they've been around, but suddenly, I think in the pandemic, a lot of people must have availed these services. And so...
But aren't they frightfully expensive?
They are.
Because everything is pre-sliced
and
cut. You've
got 3 categories. Yeah. You can either say that this is what I want to have for dinner. I don't want to get a takeaway. I want to get the joy of making it myself, and yet I don't want to do the hard work of going and shopping for the ingredients. So that is the premium service, where they say, okay, Manish Sahi, if tom yum soup, or if something, but paneer tikka masala is what you're looking to make, then we'll send you all the ingredients for it and the detailed instructions. So here are the ingredients. It'll come through your door, make it. Then there's people who say that, okay, we want all the freshly picked fruit and veg that was in the farm a few hours ago and now on our table kind of thing. That's another service. And then there are people who say that, fruit and veg
organic stuff.
No, organic to hai sab kuch. But they say ki fruit and veg that doesn't look perfect, which gets rejected by the supermarkets, they are just as nutritious. There's nothing wrong with them.
Our supermarket has started it. Wonky
Potatoes, wonky carrots,
yeah.
All of that. So there's one group of people, and I salute them for doing that. They only order food that has been rejected by the supermarkets because of the way they look, not for any other reason.
Well, call me old-fashioned, but I like Deliveroo and Uber Eats to get my McDonald's and KFC.
Oh, well, we're very old-fashioned then. I thought you were going to say call me old-fashioned, but I like my carrots perfectly aligned and my potatoes perfectly round, but no.
My carrots glazed.
Yeah, so you're right. It is, I think, eating habits, shopping habits, viewing habits, everything. It was already...
Listening habits.
Already, the change had already started, but I think 18, 19, 20 months of the pandemic has kind of escalated, the way we've now kind of started doing things and leading our lives in a very different way. Let's come back to Mr. Parag Agarwal.
Bye-bye, Jack.
Bye-bye, Jack.
Hello, Parag.
I've never been a Twitter person, so it doesn't make any difference to me, other than the fact that people are buzzing about how so many of these Silicon Valley companies, big global conglomerates, are headed up by Indians. So, giving ourselves a pat on the back saying, yay, Parag. And of course, his credentials are impeccable, as you would imagine. IIT Bombay, Stanford.
I believe he topped JEE.
IIT JEE. I don't know if it's even possible to top the IIT JEE exam, as in there would
JEE is the joint
entrance exam.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because if you want to do engineering or you want to do medicine, it is the same exam that you sit. That's what they say. It is for IIT and also for medicine. Instead of saying medicine, they say JEE. So it's like
maybe
one of those...
He didn't talk. Maybe I just didn't read.
No, maybe he had a very high score. It's very much possible. But
I did hear a funny guy going around that Donald Trump is phoning Narendra Modi and saying, "Hey, jugaad laga de, just have a chat with him. Tera bhai hai, Hindustani hai.
Saying,
get my account back on."
No, and the people saying Agarwal tweet bhandar, and because I think in my mind it's Agarwal sweets. I think in Delhi they make some of the best sweets. I think in North India,
and a lot of the corner shops were Agarwal stores.
Bhandar that is what it is.
Agarwal general stores.
General store. That is what a bhandar is. So yeah, I mean, you are the one who's on Twitter.
Which used to sell everything. Whether you wanted a candle or you wanted a brand new pair of cheddis, you'd go to Agarwal Bhandar.
Well, there you go. So you are the Twitter person out of the two of us. Have you seen any changes yet? Can you tell? Is it perceptible that they've had a change of CEO?
Yeah, I think that there's little things flying around that you can't just post and put any photograph of anyone up now. It's going to...
It has to be vetted.
It has to be vetted or something.
I'm surprised
soon.
That the Twitter birdie hasn't turned into a peacock, India's national bird. Wo bhi ho sakta hai. What else? So yeah, exciting stuff about... speaking about Twitter and social media in India has been abuzz with an upcoming Bollywood wedding. And I think we have to talk about that.
We have to talk about it because I have been getting all the information from your radio show. You have really taken it to tell the people of this land what's going on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
So many things I learnt.
Like?
That, this is listening to you. Katrina, you've really got your sources, I must admit. Katrina Kaif likes Muse, she likes Coldplay, she likes to play chess. What other things do I remember?
Born in Hong Kong. She rates another KK, Kareena Kapoor, very highly in Bollywood.
She like 5 or 6 sisters.
Yeah. And
she's got an English mom.
KF is her screen name, which she was asked to change just before she did her first film, Boom. And, I think it's mainly because, again, Katrina, it is an A-list Bollywood shadi, but because nothing exciting has happened in the last almost 2 years, people are really kind of hoping to see those glamorous photos, hoping to celebrate, hoping to, buy those glossies, which will really go to town.
And about 7-8 years ago, there was all this, people were asking you and asking me, and we said, we don't know, that she actually lives in that little part of North London that we live in. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That I think she might have stayed there for a bit, because that was the thing that, I said, we haven't seen her.
But are you talking about Finchley?
I am, yes.
But you know what, all kinds of stories coming out, obviously there's a lot of
small part of North London that my mom and dad live in, not that we live in.
They're still living.
Yeah.
We are not too far from there.
We're not too
We are in the same borough, if you must insist.
Talking about boroughs, didn't our kids' school yesterday get nominated, get voted as the number 1 school in England?
Yeah,
very good. Exciting times.
Yeah. So all kinds of speculation surrounding the Vicat wedding.
Yes.
Katrina wedding.
For anyone who doesn't know, Vi is for
Vicky Kaushal.
Vicky.
Either Vicat or Vicat.
And K is for?
Cat is for Katrina.
So
they're saying, there's speculation over the guest list, and there's all kinds of, because they're getting married in Savai Madhopur, which is not as well known as Jodhpur and Jaipur and Udaipur. Again,
but it is a beautiful Rajasthani
palatial hotel turned into one of these heritage hotels. So there, things about if there's anyone tries drone photography, it's going to be shut down. Things like Vicky and Katrina will arrive by helicopter. Things like the local law and order people who are responsible for the local.
One of his letters,
has been made public.
It was made public,
and I think it's written in Shuddh Rajasthani, not even in Hindi. So he's let it be known that this is how we're going to deal with crowd control and security arrangements and all the rest of it. Then they're saying that it's going to be a very intimate affair, apparently, because they'll have a big splashy Bollywood reception later in Mumbai. So it's only 120 guests from the two sides, and guests will be checked
120 guests.
Yeah, guests will be checked in under security codes. They wouldn't, because everybody would require a different level of security and different level of service, which I thought was quite funny.
I don't know, all the guests have to leave their phones behind.
Of course, all of those. No reels, no selfies, no taking sneaky photographs of the menu or what the bride is wearing, or even sharing your location.
What I'm more interested in is that, let's face it, we know that you have certain Bollywood sources, some connections. What's the guest list? Who's coming?
Well,
because by the time this podcast, people hear it, it will probably all be known.
Yeah, that's true. But they're saying, the usual suspects, Alia Bhatt and Anayata Shroff Ajania, who is the style director, head stylist at Vogue India.
Anayata Shroff, didn't she make Katrina change her name?
No, this is not the same one. That was some other Shroff. Aisha Shroff. This is Anayata Shroff.
Aisha Shroff is Jackie Shroff's wife?
I think so. Who was a film producer, right?
She was.
This is Anayata Shroff.
Right.
Because she was seen arriving at Katrina's house 2 days ago with loads of bags.
Because you're so knowledgeable, what was Katrina's name before?
Oh my God, I can't remember. It's something unpronounceable.
It was Turlot or something.
Something like that. There's a lot of speculation, and I think we've got lots of beautiful pictures to look forward to. And these guys have naturally got a multi-million dollar, pound, crore deal with some
rupee
international glossy. So photographs will be plastered all over once they are made official. So that's that. Something exciting to look forward to.
So is it Bollywood Shadi, or is it like a boot camp?
सुनने के तो ऐसा ही लग रहा है.
That you can't do this, 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 but do come.
I feel that because paparazzi culture in India is fairly recent, it's only come up in the last 5-10 years.
But it's come up in a
big way. Yeah. I feel that people will be very innovative, and I'm sure they'll try their hardest to still get those grainy, sneaky pictures. Because remember, even when Ranveer and Deepika got married on Lake Como, there was a boat, despite all the security that they could manage, somebody got some grainy pictures of the guests in the garden of that beautiful palace perched on Lake Como. On that note, I think we should say bye-bye. We're hoping that the next podcast, by the time it comes round, it'll still be 2021, but we will be that much closer to Christmas. We are hoping that...
Yeah, it'll just be a few days before Christmas. That'll be good.
We're hoping that the world will kind of figure out a way of keeping all of us safe, and we'll all be following the protocol that we need to follow, so that we don't lapse back into what it was like last year.
So what you're saying is, I'm telling everyone, look after yourself.
Look after yourself, look after your loved ones. Insist that people follow the guidance, which is hands, face, space,
whatever it is in your country.
Yeah,
because don't forget, this is going around the world.
That's true. If you're eligible for booster jabs, first jab, second jab, whatever it is, which is within our hands, rather, I think we should do it. Within our power is what I meant. We should do it to keep us safe.
So take care, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. Till next time, bye-bye now.